Well, I'll be looking for continued progress on reducing the deficit down towards zero, because I do put a lot of weight on a balanced budget. But at the same time, I think governments have to think more and more what they can do to stimulate growth in our economy. As you cut deficits, usually you're taking growth out of the economy, and I think we're probably at a point where governments have to keep cutting, but at the same time think about how they change policies, practices, behaviors that are going to stimulate growth within the Canadian economy. So that sort of balancing act, I think, is the challenge. We're really severely underinvested. We don't have a modern infrastructure the way you would find in a country like Japan, for example, which has invested a lot in infrastructure, or European countries. I was in Montreal recently, and it's tragic. The bridges are literally at the point of falling down in Montreal. So one way to spark faster growth is to make that investment. It's probably $130, $140 billion. It's a big, big number. And it's something that the feds have to do with the provinces and cities to ensure that we have the most modern public infrastructure for moving people, supplying water, all those good things as possible. We've gone about 25 years now without a big discussion on making our tax system work more effectively. And I think we're probably at a point where we should be rethinking how we tax, making it more simple, more clear, so people don't spend as much on paying others to do their taxes, thinking about incenting the right kind of behavior. Frankly, increasing taxes on consumption, which is not popular politics, but it's probably good policy, and allowing us to cut tax rates on things like investment and earning income. So that as a package for me would be the kind of things that a Canadian government could do right now. Well, I think we have to give credit where credit's due on the politics of taxation. This government's been very clever, identifying voters who might vote for them, designing adjustments to the tax system to appeal to that. But if we're going to be in a slower growth world going forward, I don't think we can afford to only do things for political reasons. We also have to think about the knock-on effect for our economy. So tax reform around good policy. And there we want to shift the incentives and encourage people to save and invest and to work hard. So you want to crowd people into the workforce by taking low-income Canadians and giving them strong incentives to go to work. So much lower tax rates, for example. Even a guaranteed annual income for the poor, and then incentives to go to work. Shifting the balance of taxation away from giving tax breaks to, again, building incentives for savings and investment probably means that you're going to tax consumption more and tax investment earnings less. Those are big changes, and there'd have to be a national dialogue around that. Well, I think it's both symbolic and real. Symbolic because it's easy, if you say you have a strategy to balance the books, people know what your target is, what your endpoint is, and you build a 3 to 5 year plan to get there. But it's real as well. Our ratio, federally, is about 36% of GDP, which is not high compared to the rest of the world. But you have to add the provincial debt on top of that. So when you compare Canada to Britain, to France, to the United States, we're a federation, so both levels of government matter. And if you're a Quebecer, the provincial debt is 50%, the federal is 36%. That's 86% of GDP. That's a big number. So it's not just philosophical, it's not just a symbol, it's real.